Welcome to the January 27th, 2021 meeting of the Hyde Park Zoning Board of Appeals. Will each member of the board confirm that he is alone or that no one is present that may influence his vote? As called, please respond yes or no. Serena, will you call the members?
James Agrawal,
Yes.
Paul Donnelly,
Yes.
David McNary,
Yes.
Richard Perkins,
Yes.
Herbert Sweet.
Yes. I've confirmed with the zoning board's council that tonight's meeting has been convened in accordance with the governor's March 13, 2020 executive order 202.1 and its extensions, which suspends certain provisions of the open meeting law to allow a municipal board to convene a meeting via video conferencing. In accordance with the executive order, the public has been provided with the ability to view tonight's meeting, and a transcript will be provided at a later date. I've done a roll call of board members, and there is a quorum present for this meeting. I've also confirmed with the zoning secretary that this meeting has been duly noticed. We have fulfilled our legal notice requirements by posting notice on the town's bulletin boards and news organizations, etc., and posting notice on the town's agenda center of its website. We'll now commence with the Pledge of Allegiance. Because of the audio synchronization, the only person that you may hear is me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Our next meeting will be held on Wednesday, February 24th, 2021. I'm now going to call for approval of the December 9th minutes.
So move.
And
Second.
that's
Jim.
Dave McNary moves and Jim Agrawal seconds. And will the secretary poll the board for a vote? And you're muted.
Herbert Sweet,
Yes.
James Agrawal,
Yes.
Paul Donnelly,
Yes.
David McNary,
Yes.
Richard Perkins.
Yes.
Okay, so announcement, we have a new member, Paul Donnelly. And Paul is replacing Brendan Lawler. And Brendan's been appointed to replace Hannah Black in the county legislature. Hope everybody can remember all that. She's moved on to the Board of Elections, so welcome to Paul. And we also have a new secretary, Serena Sonu. I can hardly pronounce her name straight. They're going to get slapped on this. Tushler?
Yeah, you got it.
Okay. So amusingly enough, both Brendan and Paul are social study teachers. So we got an even swap here. So our first item on the agenda is the locust on Hudson. And this is a variance from 1084.3G2 to allow construction within the stream corridor, change the undisturbed area from 100 feet to 0 feet for construction incursions in the waterfront district. The public hearing for this application was closed on July 22nd, and a written comment was received from Christopher Schultz and Inez Elskop, harder to pronounce than Tushler, within the post-public hearing closing period. It should be noted that our zoning officer has determined that the ground disturbances are not construction, so that no site plan is required. However, a review of the SWPPP plan by our attorney showed that a pond requiring an area variance is part of an 8.2 acre project on a parcel that is contiguous to a historic site, the Mills Mansion, also known as Statsburg. According to 6 NYCRR 617.4 Type 1 Actions 9 and 6 NYCRR 617.3G, a full environmental assessment form is needed, known as EAF. On receipt of it, the board can then determine what agencies may be involved and proceed within the application. And thus far, we haven't received any EAF. And I don't believe we have any representatives from the locus here this evening. Is that correct, Neil?
That is correct.
Okay. And there's not much we can do with this. We're just going to have to wait until we receive something, and then we can proceed. So noted for the locus. The next application is Floyd Holt and Evelyn Holt, 11 Stoutenburg Drive, Hyde Park. This is a variance 184.3G2 to allow construction of a new driveway within the 100-foot stream corridor, varying from 100 feet to 0 feet in the neighborhood district. At the December 9th meeting, the public hearing was closed. And we have no representative here for this. And Serena, let me ask if you received any correspondence from the public after the December 9th meeting within the allotted time, which was 10 days at that time.
No, we did not receive anything.
Okay, thank you.
Herb, this is Michelle. If you have any questions, I can cover for Joe. He was going to be on the Zoom meeting for Holt.
Okay.
It's the same office.
Okay.
If you have any questions, I'm available.
All right. Well, I don't, but I'm going to ask if any of the board members do. And I'll start with Dave McNary,
I have none.
Rich Perkins, Jim Agwell,
No questions.
and I'm missing somebody, Paul Donnelly.
No
Okay.
questions.
And I don't have any questions either at this stage. And any questions from our zoning officer
No,
and our attorney?
None.
So you got it easy tonight, Michelle. Okay, so we're at the point that the applicant has been anxiously waiting for. We have a resolution this evening. And Mr. McNary is going to move the motion. And I'd ask him to read the full resolution and not skip through it as we occasionally do.
This is dated January 27th, 2021, Resolution 20-20Z. Floyd T. Holt and Evelyn T. Holt, 11 Stoutenburg Drive, Hyde Park. Whereas the applicant Floyd T. Holt and Evelyn T. Holt have submitted an application for an area variance from section 108-4.3 G2 to allow construction of a new driveway through the 100-foot stream corridor, changing the setback from 100 feet to 0 feet for tax grid ID 133-200-6165-03-06938-0000, AKA 11 Stoutenburg Drive, Hyde Park, New York, 12538 in the neighborhood district. And whereas the stream is a tributary of the Crum Elbow Creek, a Class C stream, and whereas a single family dwelling unit is a permitted use in the neighborhood district, and whereas the parcel has a wetland and steep slopes in the front and a wetland in the rear, severely limiting the placement of a single family dwelling unit, and whereas the stream corridor lies between the road and the proposed location of the single family dwelling unit, and whereas the proposed driveway will not traverse either of the two wetlands identified on the parcel, and whereas all toes of the supporting driveway embankment will be on the parcel, and whereas the stream crossing culvert will be installed will be designed to allow for the free flow of the stream, including a 100-year flood, and whereas the stream crossing culvert to be installed will be designed to accommodate the free movement of aquatic wildlife, and whereas the driveway and culvert will be constructed and installed prior to the movement of construction vehicles to the construction site, thereby protecting the stream and the stream corridor, and whereas the driveway will be constructed to support any heavy vehicles needed to service the house, and whereas provisions will be made for the navigation of fire and other service trucks at the house end of the driveway, And whereas the driveway will have a pull-off to mitigate any problem that may occur from two-way traffic and is so noted on the site map. And whereas utilities, including water, electricity, and cable, will be connected through separate conduits to be located 5 feet below the driveway and under the stream culvert. And now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Appeals makes the following findings in accordance with Section 267-B of the town law and Hyde Park zoning law, Section 108-33.6B2, regarding the requested variance. The granting of the requested variance will not produce an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood or a detriment to nearby properties, as the stream crossing culvert is being sized so as not to impede the flow of the stream or aquatic wildlife. In addition, the neighborhood consists of other single-family dwelling units. The benefits sought by the applicants cannot be achieved by some method feasible for the applicants to pursue other than by an area variance, because the parcel has a wetland and steep slopes in the front and a wetland in the rear, as well as a stream and stream corridor in the middle, severely limiting the placement of a single-family dwelling unit. The requested variance is substantial, but without a 0-foot setback, a stream crossing would not be possible. The requested variance will not have an adverse effect on or impact on the physical or environmental conditions of the general neighborhood or district for reasons previously stated. In addition, the project has been designed not to significantly interfere with the flow of the stream or the habitats therein. Any grading to be performed at the site will be subject to the Town of Hyde Park Stormwater Management and Erosion and Sediment Control Law. And if permitted is required, the work will have to be performed pursuant to best practices to address potential stormwater runoff and turbidity. Moreover, this is a type 2 action under the State Environmental Quality Review Act, which is presumed not to have the potential to have a significant adverse environmental impact. Per New York State Department of Environmental Conservation Resources, the site has been identified as potentially containing the Blandings turtle or Indian bat or associated habitats of said species. The project will not result in a significant adverse impact on these species or their habitat, because the applicant has indicated the majority of tree clearing will be performed between November and March, and because the project has been designed to allow the movement of wildlife and continuation of habitats in and around the culvert. The difficulty is self-created. Be it further resolved that the Zoning Board of Appeals hereby grants the requested variance subject to the following conditions. 1, payment of all fees. 2, there will be no blasting during any part of the construction. 4, the culvert shall be maintained so as to prevent flooding.
Excuse me, may I have a second to the motion?
I'll second the motion.
Okay, will the secretary poll the board?
Herbert Sweet,
Yes.
James Agrawal,
Yes.
Paul Donnelly,
I wish to abstain.
David McNary,
Yes,
Richard Perkins.
Yes.
Okay. So we're off to the next the next application. And
Would you say motion passed?
yeah, motion passed. I think it's pretty obvious. One of us should say that, I suppose. You're right. And minor correction of the reading, that was Indiana bats, not Indian bats.
thank you.
So that's a lot to read. And the next application is Howard Mincer, 26 Mountain View Road, Statsburg, part of Hyde Park, of course. And this is a variance from 108.4.3 G2 to allow for physical improvements within the stream corridor, changing from 100 feet to 0 feet for pond improvements on tax ID 616703335310, and stream crossing stream crossing So at the December 9th meeting, the public hearing was closed. And I don't believe we have anyone here representing the project this evening.
You do.
We
Mr.
do.
Adams is here.
Pete is there.
Ah, there he is. Came in a little late, Pete. Okay. And so let me ask our new secretary, did we receive any public correspondence within the allotted time?
No, we did not.
Okay. Now let's see, we have any questions from board members? Paul Donnelly? You're muted, Paul.
Yeah, no questions.
Okay. Dave McNary,
None? No questions.
Rich Perkins,
No questions.
and Jim Agwald.
No questions at this time.
Okay. Any questions from our zoning officer who's muted? Okay, she shakes her head. I'll buy that. And our attorney.
None.
Okay, nobody has any questions. So I am going to move this motion. This is a resolution to grant area variance to Howard Mincer, 26 Mountain View Road, Statsburg, New York. Resolution 20-21Z. Whereas the applicant Howard Mincer is requesting a variance from section 108-4.3 G2 to allow for physical improvements within the stream corridor, changing from 100 feet to 0 feet, for pond improvements on tax ID 61703-335310, and stream crossing of a new driveway between that ID and in the Greenbelt District and ID 61703-396283 in the Greenbelt District. And whereas the existing pond on tax ID 616-703-335310 receives and discharges into the Indian Kill and needs improvements to remove the stagnant conditions now existing. And whereas this will be addressed by enlarging the pond, adding a new intake channel, and adding a new discharge pipe, and whereas an unpaved driveway will be added for the maintenance of the pond, and whereas the flagpole access to the rear parcel, tax ID 616-703-396283, is unusable due to the flood-prone area it leads to, thus requiring a different access path. And whereas the proposed path has been chosen to create the least impact to the stream corridor and be the least susceptible to flooding by being positioned on the highest ground. And whereas the applicant has created a customized map to the detail of 1-foot contours, along with extra surveying that were used as the basis for the driveway path chosen. And whereas the stream crossing culvert to be installed will be 75 inches times 112 inches, so as to allow for the free flowing of the stream, including a 100-year flood. And whereas in a letter dated December 9th, 2020, consulting engineer Peter Andros stated that the stream crossing culvert will be built to ACOE, American Corps of Engineers, standards, including standards for the protection of aquatic wildlife. And whereas other needed permits are being pursued separately and are not prerequisite to an area variance. And whereas the town engineer, Peter Sotero, has reviewed the plans and found them to be acceptable. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Zoning Board of Appeals makes the following findings in accordance with 267B of the town law and Hyde Park zoning law, section 108-33.6B2 regarding the requested variance. 1, the granting of the requested variances will not produce an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood or detriment to nearby properties The pond will be changed from its stagnant conditions to a pond that is visually attractive, and the access to the rear parcel shifted from the existing unusable flagpole access to the proposed location will not produce a deterioration of the neighborhood nor be a detriment to nearby properties. 2, the benefits sought by the applicant cannot be achieved by some method feasible for the applicants to pursue other than by area variances, as the pond is within the stream corridor and the rear parcel is mostly landlocked and blocked by the stream corridor. The requested variance is substantial, but the pond being attached to the stream cannot be maintained otherwise, nor can the rear parcel on the other side of the stream be accessed. The requested variance will not have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions in the general neighborhood or district for reasons previously stated. In addition, the project has been designed not to significantly interfere with the flow of the stream or the habitats therein. Any grading to be performed at this site will be subject to the town of Hyde Park stormwater management and erosion and sediment control law, and if a permit is required, the work will have to be performed pursuant to best practices to address potential stormwater runoff and turbidity. Moreover, this is a type 2 action under the State Environmental Quality Review Act, which is presumed not to have the potential to have a significant adverse environmental impact. Per New York State Department of Environmental Conservation Resources, the site does not contain any species or associated habitats of said species listed by the state or federal government as threatened or endangered. And finally, the difficulty is self-created. Be it further resolved, the Zoning Board of Appeals hereby grants the requested variance subject to the following conditions: payment of all fees, proof or recordation of driveway access easements and maintenance agreements over the 2 parcels in form and substance approved by the attorney and attorney to the Zoning Board of Appeals. Proof of recordation of an easement to permit the installation and use of the outlet pipe on the 2 parcels in form and in substance approved by the attorney to the Zoning Board of Appeals. The culvert shall be maintained to prevent flooding. May I have a second to the motion?
Second,
Who's second?
McNary.
Okay. And will the secretary poll the board?
Herbert Sweet,
Yes.
James Agrawal,
Yes.
Paul Donnelly,
Abstain?
David McNary,
Yes.
Richard Perkins,
Yes.
Motion carried. And where's Pete? We don't even see him now.
I'm here.
These Hollywood squares move around. Congratulations. We won't be seeing you for a while, I presume, but who knows?
Peter, thank you. Thank you for all your clarification on this project. It was very helpful.
Well, you're welcome. Thank you.
And thanks for the charming field trip.
Okay.
Okay, so moving along. You see how this works, Paul? Hey, you're muted.
Yeah, I keep my mic muted. So, sorry.
Okay. Our next application is Robert and Rachel Bramer. And this is variance from section 108, 5.15, changing side yard setback from 25 feet to 16 feet for the construction of an addition in the Greenbelt District. At the December 9th meeting, the public hearing was closed. And I believe we have Mrs. Bramer here. I see her.
Hi.
Oh,
And do. We had any comments, Serena, in the allocated time since the public hearing was closed?
no.
Okay. All right, so let me see if we have any questions from the board. Let's start with Paul.
No questions.
No? David?
No questions.
Richard?
I have one. I was able to get by there this weekend, and it looks pretty tight. Looks like it goes up behind the house? Are you gonna go into the, I guess, earth or basement or anything, or what's the plan?
Well, our house is kind of raised in the back and it meets the backyard and there's like a pit in between. So we're gonna just tap into the rock there.
Okay. No basement or,
No, it's not that big.
yeah, okay.
It's barely a crawl.
Thanks.
Okay. And do we have any questions from our zoning officer?
No, no questions.
Any comments from our attorney?
None.
Okay. So, will Mr. Agwal move the motion?
Sure. January 27th, 2021, resolution number 20-22Z. Whereas the applicants, Robert and Rachel Bramer, have submitted an application for an area variance from section 108-5.15 to change the side yard setback from 25 feet to 16 feet for construction of an addition in the Greenbelt district. And whereas the lot is small, being only 0.36 acres, and whereas the proposed addition will be located where a deck currently exists. Now therefore be it resolved that the zoning board of appeals makes the following findings in accordance with section 267B of the town law and Hyde Park zoning law, section 108-33.6B2 regarding the requested variance. 1, the granting of the requested variances will not produce an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood or detriment to nearby properties. The addition will be in the rear yard and not visible from the front of the property. 2, the benefits sought by the applicants cannot be achieved by some method feasible for the applicants to pursue other than by an area variance because of the small size of the lot and its unusual triangular shape. 3, the requested variance is numerically substantial. However, as previously noted, it will replace an existing deck, so the impact will be diminished. 4, the requested variance will not adversely affect or impact the physical or environmental conditions in the general neighborhood or district for reasons previously stated. 5, the difficulty is self-created. Be it further resolved that the zoning board of appeals hereby grants the requested variance subject to the following condition. 1, payment of all fees.
May I have a,
Second the motion.
okay, you beat me to it, David. The secretary, please poll the board.
Herbert Sweet,
Yes?
James Agrawal,
Yes,
Paul Donnelly,
Abstain?
David McNary,
Yes?
Richard Perkins.
Yes.
Well, congratulations, Mrs. Bramer.
Yay. Thank you.
We'll
Aye.
look forward to watching the construction.
Okay, good.
Now,
Thank-
if your property was in Long Island where I grew up, it would have been considered a large lot. Okay, so
Everybody have a good night.
good
Thank
night.
you.
go.
Now we're off to Scott McClemens. Okay, this is a Scott McClemens. I see him checking in here. 5 Road Drive, Hyde Park. This is a variance from 108-5.15, changing side yard setback from 10 feet to 8 feet, replacing and enlarging the shed in the neighborhood district. The outbuilding. Now, at the December 9th meeting, the public hearing was closed. And I see Mr. McClemens checking in now.
Yeah, I'm not starting my video, just audio,
Okay. Bad hair day, Scott?
I suppose.
I've known Scott for some time. As you can see from the equipment in the back there, it's my ham radio station, and Scott and I share that avocation. Although it does not impinge on my impartiality, otherwise I would have recused myself. Okay, so let me ask the secretary, have we received any correspondence from the public within the allotted time after the close of the public hearing?
No, we did not.
Thank you. And questions from the board members, Paul Donnelly,
None.
Dave McNary,
No,
Rich Perkins,
No,
Jim Agwal.
No.
Any comments from our zoning administrator
No comments.
and our attorney?
None.
Okay, in that case, will Mr. Perkins please move the motion?
yes, the motion is dated January 27th, 2021, resolution 2023Z. Whereas the applicant, Scott McClements, is requesting a variance from section 108-5.15, changing a side yard setback from 10 feet to 8 feet for replacing an existing 8-foot by 12-foot shed with an accessory structure measuring 10 feet by 24 feet, that is 10 feet in height, placed in the same location on the parcel in the neighborhood district.
I have a correction there. It's 12 by 24, not by 10 by 24.
Does that change the distance to the sideline?
No, it goes away in the other direction. So it's just no.
So you're still requesting an 8-foot to the sideline?
Yeah, it doesn't change any of the setbacks. No.
Okay. So we will correct that from 10 feet times 24 feet to 12 feet times 24 feet. Okay, proceed.
Okay. Whereas the present and future building locations are limited by the little open space available due to the septic field and wooded sloped portion of the parcel. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Zoning Board of Appeals makes the following findings in accordance with section 267B of the town law and Hyde Park zoning law, section 108-33.6B2 regarding the requested variance. 1, the granting of the requested variance will not produce an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood or detriment to nearby properties. The storage building has been professionally designed and is of a residential character. 2, the benefits sought by the applicant cannot be achieved by some method feasible for the applicants to pursue other than by an area variance. There are location impediments, in particular a wooded area and septic field. The requested variance is not substantial. The requested variance, number 4, will not have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions of the general neighborhood or district. It will replace an existing shed and be near the rear of the property and well out of public view. The difficulty is self-created. Be it further resolved that the Zoning Board of Appeals hereby grants the requested variance subject to the following conditions: payment of all fees.
And may I hear a second to the motion?
Second, Jim.
Jim Agwal seconds. Secretary, please poll the board.
Herbert Sweet,
Yes.
James Agrawal,
Yes.
Paul Donnelly,
Abstain?
David McNary,
yes,
Richard Perkins.
Yes.
Okay, Scott, you can move in any time.
Great. I was hoping to get Paul Donnelly to not abstain, but I just couldn't do it.
you know how Paul is. He's
Yeah.
he's an abstainer.
Yeah. Okay. All right, guys. Yeah.
Where's that shed that you currently got going?
It's still here on the property. It's going to be for sale in the springtime.
You delivering it?
No, yeah, they're going to be delivering it. Yep.
Good luck on it, Scott.
Thank you very much. Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
Okay, 73. Okay. Now we have a continuing public hearing. This is the Hudson Valley Hospice House, 542 Violet Avenue. mailing address Poughkeepsie, but it's in Hyde Park. This is a variance from 108-5.15, changing bulk regulation scale from 6,000 square feet to 30,000 square feet for a residential care facility in the neighborhood core district. And I see we have several representatives on the third row of our Hollywood squares here this evening. No, good evening to you all.
Good evening.
And may I have a motion to resume the public hearing?
So moved. McNary.
And second,
Jim Agarwal, second.
and a vote on that, Secretary? Who's muted?
Sorry. Okay. Herbert Speed,
Yes?
James Agrawal,
Yes.
Paul Donnelly,
Yes.
David McNary,
Yes.
Richard Perkins.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So, as the applicants are aware, but I'll make the public aware, the planning board has completed its seeker review, State Environmental Quality Review Act. And the ZBA is now in a position to act on the variance request. So let me ask my secretary, have we received any other public comments?
Sorry, there we go. No new ones.
Thank you. And so we ask our applicant, presume Mr. Kaminsky is going to be the lead. Anything to tell us that we haven't heard?
No, thank you very much, Mr. Sweet. I think we've filled you in with a lot of detail and data that we don't have to bore you with.
I think I'd like to add one thing, that they did get their certificate of need or from the state health department, or the state health department said that this is a needed facility.
Probably didn't take them long to figure that out.
Has there been any change in the plans for the building?
No.
Oh, there hasn't been, no.
The last ones that went to the planning board is still the same plans, just more detailed.
Okay, so we're still talking 14 residents at any one time?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, can I say, Mr. Chairman, I didn't realize that the board didn't know that we did receive approval from the Department of Health. So thank you, Michelle. I appreciate bringing that to their attention.
Well, that's nice to know. And it's very nice hearing your initial presentation about the facility, as residents and some of us old residents. It's good to know that it'll be here. But our official mission is extremely limited. We're only concerned with the scale. And the planning board will have a lot more questions about the rest of it. So,
question, Mr. Kaminsky, what from this point on, when do you anticipate doors opening? Best ideal timing?
Well, I'm assuming if the planning board approves the site plan and the building by late spring, we'll be issuing contracts to contractors in time for them to start during the summer. And Jay, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm assuming it's a minimum of a year construction and possibly a year and a half.
Okay.
That's correct.
Sorry.
Okay. Good.
hang in there, Dave.
We wish you very good luck on this. It's obviously going to be an asset to the community, as well as helping you in terms of the expanding services you're having. I know you've almost doubled the number of individuals you're taking care of now, either in the home or in the hospital, and this will certainly add to that. And we commend you for the project.
I appreciate the comment, Mr. McNary. We've actually almost quadrupled the number of patients we're taking care of on a daily basis. We're almost we're taking care of almost 400 patients a day.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Amazing.
I hope not to be one of them someday.
Well, it's not a bad way.
But it will be at some point, including me.
Yes, I hope to be present to watch your entrance. So, Serena, have we received any other public comments?
No.
Thank you. And is there anyone in the Zoom waiting room wishing to speak, Neil?
No, there's not.
Thank you. So we've heard from Mr. McNary. Let me see if any of the other board members have any comments. Mr. Donnelly,
No.
Mr. Perkins,
No.
Mr. Agrawal.
No.
1, 2, 3. Who am I forgetting?
Mr. Sweet.
No, yes, you already spoke. You have anything else to say? Mom's got his word. Okay. Okay, so do we have any comments from our zoning officer?
No, no comments.
Thank you. Our attorney?
Just to say that the project has since received a negative declaration under seeker at the planning board's second December meeting. So I believe that the ZBA could close the public hearing tonight if it so wished.
Okay, well, that's exactly what I was going to do next. I think we've got all the information we need. We've heard from the public and we've heard from the applicants. So may I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved, McNary.
Okay, second to the motion?
Jim Agrawal?
Okay, and Secretary poll the board, please.
Herbert Sweet,
Yes,
James Agrawal,
Yes.
Paul Donnelly,
Yes.
David McNary,
Yes.
Richard Perkins.
Yes.
okay, thank you. So the public can see the detail of the application by examining the plans, which are at the town hall and at the planning and zoning office. I'm sorry, at the town hall, at the planning and zoning office. The ZBA will accept public comments until 7 days following the close of the public hearing. They should be sent to ZBA Secretary at 4383 Albany Post Road, Hyde Park, New York, or emailed to zbasec@hydeparkny.us. We're expecting to have a resolution at the February 24th meeting. And then we will be through. And it's off to the planning board, assuming that resolution is passed. That's the process. I think everybody knows. So we'll see you all next month.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you both.
Okay, bye-bye. We have a new public hearing. This is Pauline Yo. I know I'm gonna make mistakes. 62 East Market Street, Hyde Park. This is a variance from section 108, 4.3 G2 to changing an undisturbed stream corridor from 100 feet to 75 feet in the neighborhood district. May I have a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved, McNary.
And a second?
Second.
And the secretary take a vote, poll the board?
Herbert Sweet,
Yes?
James Agrawal,
Yes.
Paul Donnelly,
Yes.
David McNary,
Yes.
Richard Perkins.
Yes.
Okay. And I see we have Dave Stewart here representing.
Hi, Dave.
Hi, Herb.
How you
Hey,
doing?
Rick.
You want to give us all a brief chat on what your project is, and Neil, you might put up the graphic that we have so we can all follow along a little bit better.
Oh, great. Perfect. Hi, I'm Dave Stewart, DS Electric. So we're installing a generator, or proposing to install a generator for Ms. Yu at 62 East Market Street. The location that we're proposing is within the setbacks of the wetlands, but that the wetlands are actually on the opposite side of the home of the of where the wetlands are. So the home is in between the two, as you can see from the diagram you have up above. So I believe that shouldn't really be any kind of concern. I mean, if there were any kind of issue there, it would have to actually go through the home in order to be a problem to the wetlands. All the other setbacks should be fine. The front setbacks to the road, it's not really visible to the house. I think we have pictures of that up there too. I don't know if you want to see that. But I mean, that's basically it. It's supposed to be 100 feet. We're asking it to be shortened to 75 feet.
Yeah, actually, it's to the stream. The stream corridor is 100 feet on either side of the stream, not wetland.
Gotcha.
But that's what your diagram shows. It says water. Okay. All right. I understand that.
Tad, the house was built before the 100-foot stream requirements were put in? You know?
I was going to ask the same question, but it has to have been.
Do we know when the house was built? I don't know when the house was built.
Okay.
I have partial access up right now. It's 1925, the original structure was.
Yes, it predated zoning.
Okay, so
Quite a bit.
I mean, the reality is today you could not build a house where it is.
Not without a variance.
Not without a variance. Okay, and so we're putting a generator further away from the stream than the house is at this point.
Yes.
Okay.
Dave, is it be propane or diesel? What is it?
It's going to be run off an existing propane tank. The propane is on the far north side of the residence.
Seen it. Yeah, I know where it is.
Okay, so it's running off existing propane tanks, and the regulator is right in the general vicinity, which is why one of the reasons we wanted to have the generator in that location.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so do I understand correctly? The north side of the house is the same side as the generator is going to be on?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Where's the front door in relation to that generator on this picture?
So where the generator is, it kind of looks like a U maybe. Right. To the right side of the U is where the generator is. To the far left side of the U is where the front door is.
Okay.
Okay. That's curious.
And the driveway comes in right to the north of it off of East Market. This is Pompey Delafield's old house, if anybody's familiar with it.
Oh, really? I should have known better.
Good.
That's a big house.
Beautiful place if you've never been inside of it.
Oh, I've been in there. He's got a gorgeous house, or he had when he was there. He had lots of affairs there. Now, as a town supervisor, you'd expect that. So, who haven't we heard from? Jim, Dave, Rich, Paul, any questions?
No more.
No? Okay. Okay. And we have received any correspondence, Serena?
No, we have not.
Okay. And is there anyone in the Zoom waiting room wishing to speak?
No, there is not.
Okay. And we've asked the board members. I think I asked the zoning officer. I'm losing track of what I'm doing here. I'm going out of sequence.
No more comment or
Yes. No more comments. Okay. And our attorney?
No comment.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so the public can see the detail of this application by examining the plans, which are at the town hall and the planning and zoning office. And the ZBA will accept public comments until 7 days following the close of the public hearing. They should be sent to ZBA Secretary at 4383 Albany Post Road, Hyde Park, New York, or email to zbasec@hydeparkny.us. May I have a motion to close the public hearing?
I make a motion, we close the public hearing.
And may I have a second?
Second, McNary.
Okay. And secretary, please poll the board.
Herbert Sweet,
Yes?
James Agrawal,
Yes.
Paul Donnelly,
Yes.
David McNary,
Yes.
Richard Perkins.
Yes.
Okay. So we should have a resolution at the February 24th meeting. Assuming we don't have another pandemic or something. So we'll see you then.
Thank you, Herb. Thanks, board. Paul, thanks for flipping. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Serena, congratulations on your new position. Have a good day, everybody.
Okay, bye-bye. We have a new application. It's our final item here. Suleiman and Hava Dodik, 4305 Albany Post Road, Hyde Park. This is a variance from section 108-5.15, changing density from 12 dwelling units per acre to 14 dwelling units per acre for the addition of one dwelling unit to an existing house on a 5,880 square foot parcel in the new Town Core PW-1 district. And I believe we have a representative here this evening. I'm looking around. I see him. Brad Will, you're representing?
I am.
Okay, very good. So can you give the board a short summary of what you'd like us to approve?
Sure. Well, as the drawings show, this is a small lot that's located on the on Albany Post Road across from the firehouse and in a residential neighborhood, mixed use, of course. But the surrounding properties are next to and behind the subject parcel are basically residential, and that includes the properties to either side, which are also 2-unit properties. Historically, this had been a mixed-use building with a medical clinic at the ground floor when it was originally approved, or at least approved last back in the 1980s. When it was sold in 2018 to the current owner, that owner-tenant moved out their business, and what remained was a commercial clinic space at the ground floor and a residential unit upstairs. The owner attempted for a number of months and maybe up to a year to rent out the space at the ground level to a commercial tenant, even hiring a commercial realtor to represent and attempt to find a new tenant. And he had literally 0 bites on that. So he surmised that the newer commercial areas up and down Albany Post Road and I guess Route 9 were just too competitive or attractive in terms of what they had to offer commercial tenants, and both for professional offices, other commercial uses. So he made just to try to convert that ground floor back into a residential unit. And that's when he called up our firm to assist him. And this was about roughly 10 months ago. When I got involved, when Ashokan Architecture got involved as his representative and architect, we gleaned in short time that there were some zoning changes afoot. And so when I saw this as a fairly routine submission and design problem originally, it wasn't quite so simple, that because of what was allowed and disallowed in that zoning district. So we kind of put the brakes on for a little bit and let the town work through its final machinations of the local laws, A, B, and how that got resolved and ultimately passed. And when that happened in the fall, we resubmitted with this being an allowed use to 2 units, multi units on a property. The catch again, though, was that because of the size of the property, we were just undersized to accommodate the 2 units in the existing structure. So that's why we're before your board right now. So I'm sorry for the long explanation, but that's kind of, I wanted to just give a little bit of background. So that's why we're here.
What do you see doing, Brad, to that first floor? Is there any major changes in construction in that?
No, if you have the, I don't know if you have the
floor
Yeah,
plan.
we have the architect plans.
Yeah, so there's really just a bunch of, there are several small rooms. I mean, it's like a, you know, when your doctor's office, you go in any room. So it's like little rabbit warren sort of space with the lobby and you know, what was the receptionist desk, which is roughly where the bathroom is located. So this would be, you know, we would preserve the structural integrity, of course, and create a single, you know, good, decent sized bedroom with a closet, a kitchen, a new kitchen area. There is a door an exterior door. There are several doors on this ground floor level. There's more doors than we need. The one that steps out to the existing driveway is really obsolete. In fact, it doesn't have a landing there anymore. Thank you. So you can see at the top, you know, the top part of the page of the residential structure, the currently mixed use structure. That would be where we come out. We put a window in there, and that would look just like the other windows in terms of operation and design. And then there is an existing ADA ramp and railing that extends from the front door all the way out to the edge of the existing sidewalk. And that would come out because there's no need to have that, and it's not attractive and doesn't make sense for a residential use. That was really just to accommodate wheelchair bound non-ambulatory doctor patients for that doctor. So that's kind of basically it. It's a pretty straightforward plan. There's a living area in the front, the bathroom, a new full bathroom. There is an access to a basement there, you see from the kitchen, and also backs like small mudroom vestibule.
Brad, the front door, I see the entrance to the front door, but the entrance to this apartment, is it under the stairs or where? I'm confused now.
You see where it says living room?
Yeah, that's the entrance.
Okay.
That's the front door.
Okay.
Yep,
Got it.
exactly. Yeah, through the porch.
You're putting a window where the other front door is, or the door near the stairs. Did I hear you? You're putting a window there?
No.
Well, if there's a photograph, we're taking that door out and putting a window in. If you look at sheet, it shows it pretty clearly, I think, on sheet A100. Oh, I don't know why that's A100. That should be A101. Sorry about that. So there's a photograph that shows a northeast view from sidewalk. And there's a note on it that says the door to be removed. And you can see that door just kind of floats. If it's a pretty hazardous situation right now because there's no landing there. It's right up against the driveway. So it just doesn't make sense to keep that door. So we're proposing that we would take that door out and put a window in its place.
I got it. Okay.
And there's ample parking, as you can see in the back. Plenty of parking for, two 2 residential units plus guest parking. So I think it's fair to say that there's no impact, and of course, there's no on-street parking there in any event.
The existing garage will remain?
It will, yeah, but there's no work proposed there.
Okay.
And Mr. Will, most of the utilities are in the cellar?
That's correct, yes.
Oh,
And
If you remove that door to get to the cellar stairs, you got to walk through the house, whether there's a carpet or whatever. So
well, we're
furnace-
not removing the stairs though. They'll stay.
to get to those stairs, serviceman will have to come through the front or the back door and go through the whole house.
That's correct. You're breaking up a little bit. I'm straining to hear you. Sorry. Yes, that's correct.
Okay. I wouldn't want to rent that apartment.
Well, I don't know. Right where I live in Kingston, when the Central Hudson guy shows up, he has to come through our house to get downstairs to read the gas meter.
We'll put it outside.
So other than the removal of the handicap ramp, the exterior will remain the same.
That's correct. Yes.
And the entrance, come in the existing door to the porch, and straight ahead is the entrance to upstairs, and make a left turn and go a few feet, and there's the entrance to downstairs. I got it right?
Yeah.
Absolutely correct. Yes.
Okay.
And the back door on the first floor will remain, or you convert it to a window?
No, to the kitchen.
Yeah, that's going to stay, right?
Oh yeah, that's a nice amenity to have, to be able to walk out to the back and directly to the parking area. So that stays.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Yeah, there's very little work on the exterior.
Tad, what's this? What is the zoning in this on this site?
It's a new zoning, and I believe Herb referenced it, and it's something PW1.
Town Core, PW1.
And is that a combined business and residential?
There's a lot of uses allowed in that district, including this one.
Okay.
So
the question for zoning variance here, if I understand correctly, is that we're going from a single house to a 2-unit house on the same footprint?
Not quite. It's historically it's been a mixed use building. It had the clinical use of the ground floor and a residential use upstairs.
Okay, so we're going to 2 residential uses of the building.
2 residential uses where the density that's allowed for this size lot is not big enough. So you need to relax the density standard of so much per acre. I think it's allowed 12 now, and we're going to 14, I think.
That's correct.
Based on the square footage of the lot.
Okay, all right. How big
The
is
lot's a little undersized.
the lot? Is the lot what, about half an acre? Not even a half an acre.
5,880 square feet. It's pretty small, but
It's
it
about
doesn't
an
have
eighth
to
of
be
an
that
acre, give
big.
or take.
I'm sorry,
It's
Patrick?
about an eighth of an acre, give or take.
Okay.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. So that's the reason for increasing the. Okay, I get it.
That's all we're interested in here. Okay. I think we've been through that pretty much.
And this does also have to go through the planning board for site plan.
Yeah, that occurs
Okay.
following the entertaining of a variance and acceptance of the variance for the zoning board. That's the process. So what we're going to do this evening, now that everyone is familiarized themselves with this, is we're going to set the public hearing for next month. And that will give the public a chance to be notified and to come and participate and all of that if they want to. So may I have a motion to set the public hearing for February 24th?
So moved.
And may I have a second?
Second.
And the secretary poll the board?
I'm sorry, who did the second for that?
Oh,
You
Jim.
can have it.
Jim.
Okay. Herbert Sweet,
Yes.
James Agrawal,
Yes.
Paul Donnelly,
Yes.
David McNary,
Yes.
Richard Perkins.
Yes.
Okay. So the public can see the detail of this application by examining the plans, which is at the town hall and at the planning and zoning office. And comments, comments can be submitted either by mail to 43 ZBA Secretary, 4383 Albany Post Road, Hyde Park, or emailed to ZBA SEC at hydeparkny.us, or arrangements made with our engineer in charge to come and speak if they wish. And that is all we have there. I think, oh, do. I have a note here that there's a matter of escrow that we haven't received yet. So that has to be submitted.
Yeah, we are, the owner and I are aware of that. We're actually, we need to submit for the planning board in any event. So that's going to happen as soon as we can. I think it'll end up being early next week.
And I owe you a phone call, Mr. Will. I will try to get that tomorrow.
Nice to meet you, Tad.
Yes.
We've been online for quite a while now. Okay, I'll look forward to that.
Okay.
I rarely see a human being anymore. Even the Jehovah's are using the telephone.
I know. I've heard about these humans. Yeah.
They're around here somewhere.
Okay. So we will see you next month, Mr. Will. And you're the last of the Mohegans for tonight. And at this point, say goodbye to you and ask if anyone has any further business. Hasn't happened yet, but I'll ask anyway. And it's a big silent part of the meeting. And I want to thank our invisible support, our webmaster. I see his picture there, in a pensive mood. And he's also our ZBA town board liaison, and he's a town board member. So he's even busier than I am. So may I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Rich makes the motion. There is second.
Jim.
Jim Agwell seconds. And will secretary please poll the board?
Herbert Sweet,
Yes.
James Agrawal,
Yes.
Paul Donnelly,
Yes.
David McNary,
Yes.
Richard Perkins.
Yes.
Well, we're all through, folks.
And Serena, I want to welcome you officially to your new position, and you did
Yes.
a marvelous job.
Congratulations. We're glad to have you.
Thanks.
Somebody's got to keep us straight.
Okay, now, David, when you write your resolution, better watch your semicolons. Our secretary's gonna gig you.
That's good.